She said her species bonds only once per season, and she chose me. Beyond the familiar constellations, uncharted worlds waited, untouched by humans or any known alien species. That was exactly why he was here: exploration, discovery, the chance to write humanity into the stars. "Captain, sensors are picking up an atmosphere compatible with life on that planet," said Lieutenant Mara Klein, her voice calm but tinged with excitement. She pointed to a blue-green orb rotating slowly in the display screen. Clouds swirled over oceans, continents stretched like painted brushstrokes, and something about the world felt alive. Aaron's heart beat faster. "Prepare the landing team," he ordered. "We're going down." The Endeavour descended through the planet's thick atmosphere. The air was crisp, surprisingly breathable. Birds, or bird-like creatures, flew across deep valleys. Forests stretched endlessly, glowing faintly in shades of green and gold. But what caught Aaron's attention most was a city in the distance. Its towers shimmered with bioluminescent patterns, moving and shifting like liquid light. This is incredible," Aaron whispered, even to himself. "Let's hope they're friendly," Mara said, scanning her tablet. "Life signs are advanced, definitely intelligent." When the landing shuttle touched down, a group of beings waited. They were unlike anything Aaron had ever seen. Tall, elegant, almost ethereal, with skin that shimmered like molten glass and eyes that reflected the stars themselves. The Lyrathi. "Stay calm," Aaron told his team, though his own pulse raced. These beings were known across human charts as a rare species, secretive and proud. They bonded only once per season, and their bonds were sacred, a deep connection that could define their entire life. One of the Lyrathi stepped forward. Her skin glowed softly in the early light. Her eyes met Aaron's, and for a moment the world felt silent. "I am Selara," she said, her voice musical yet strong. "You are human." Aaron nodded, extending a hand politely. "I am Captain Aaron Hale. We come in peace." Selara tilted her head, as if considering something only she could see. Then she did something completely unexpected. She reached out and touched Aaron's hand, not lightly but with a deliberate pressure. Electricity seemed to surge where their skin met. Aaron's body tingled. The crew froze. No human had ever bonded with a Lyrathi without ceremony, and never like this. "I choose you," Selara said softly, almost reverently. The words echoed in Aaron's mind. "Choose me?" he asked. His voice was barely audible. "In this season my bond is yours," Selara replied, her eyes unwavering. Aaron felt the weight of the moment. He had read about Lyrathi bonds in old human archives. They were rare, sacred. A bond was not simply emotional, it could connect two minds, two souls. To be chosen by a Lyrathi was beyond honor, it was dangerous. "Captain," Mara whispered beside him. Do you accept?" Aaron swallowed hard. His mind raced. The rules were simple: respect, trust, and complete openness. He nodded. "I accept." The world seemed to shift. Colors became sharper, sounds more vivid. Aaron felt connected to Selara in a way that was impossible to explain. Her thoughts brushed against his, faint at first, like whispers on the wind. He could feel her calm curiosity, her careful assessment of him, even her subtle excitement. It was overwhelming. Selara smiled, a soft, glowing curve of light. "We will learn together," she said. The rest of the landing party approached cautiously. The Lyrathi studied them too, their luminous bodies pulsing with emotion, warning, curiosity. One of the Lyrathi elders stepped forward. His skin glimmered deeper, almost violet. "This is unprecedented," he said in a tone that sounded both amused and concerned. "A human chosen for bonding this season." Aaron swallowed again. I don't understand. Is this allowed?" The elder's gaze softened, though his eyes still held caution. "It is allowed, but it is unusual. Very unusual. Human minds are different. Your species has never bonded with us in this way before. This will be watched." Aaron nodded, unsure whether to feel proud or terrified. As night fell on the planet, Aaron stayed with Selara, learning about the bond. She explained that the bond was not just emotional, it was biological, psychic, and spiritual. When bonded, she and Aaron could sense each other's feelings, even thoughts, across distance. Danger could be felt, joy could be shared, confusion or pain could resonate between them. Aaron tried not to feel overwhelmed. "So, if I'm in trouble, you'd know?" he asked. "Yes," she said softly, "and I would help just as you would for me." He realized suddenly that this bond was more than honor. It was responsibility. It was trust. And it was dangerous, especially here, among a species that had never let outsiders share something so sacred. The next morning, the Lyrathi brought Aaron and his crew to the city. Towers shimmered with life energy, streets flowed like rivers of light, and the air hummed with a soft melody, almost like the planet itself was singing. Aaron marveled. Humans had built great cities, but this was something entirely different. Selara guided him through a central plaza where other Lyrathi gathered. Their eyes glowed, studying Aaron. Some faces held curiosity, others caution. One even betrayed slight disapproval. The elder's warning replayed in his mind. "This is your home," Aaron said quietly to Selara. "It is," she replied, "and soon you will know why our bond matters to us, to our people." The day passed in lessons. Aaron learned Lyrathi customs, how they communicated, how they shared energy through touch, how their emotions influenced the world around them. His bond with Selara allowed him to sense subtle changes, shifts in the air, tiny fluctuations in energy, moods of the surrounding beings. But not all lessons were easy. Aaron noticed stares, whispers, and subtle movements from the crowd that suggested suspicion. He understood. Humans were outsiders, fragile in their eyes, incapable of comprehending Lyrathi traditions. Yet the bond strengthened. By nightfall, Aaron could feel Selara's presence even when she stepped away. He could sense her calm assurance, her curiosity about him, her excitement at teaching him. The connection was intoxicating and strange. When they returned to the landing site, Aaron spoke softly. "Selara, why me? Why choose me?" Her gaze met his. "I see something in you humans that is rare. You adapt, you persevere, you care even when it is difficult. Most importantly, you choose your path even when it is uncertain. That is why I chose you." Aaron's chest tightened. He had faced danger before, battled hostile worlds, survived storms of every kind, but never had he felt the weight and depth of responsibility like this. This bond was both a gift and a challenge. He would need every ounce of his courage and humanity to navigate it. The night sky glimmered with alien stars. Aaron realized one thing clearly: the season had just begun, and so had the most important journey of his life. Selara's hand brushed his, and a spark ran through him. "We have much to learn," she whispered. "And I am ready," he replied. For the first time, Aaron understood what it truly meant to be chosen, not just for honor, but to shape the future, to bridge worlds, and to prove that humanity could rise in ways even the galaxy had not yet imagined. And somewhere deep inside, he knew that this bond would change not only his life, but the fate of his crew, his species, and perhaps the stars themselves. The morning sun spilled gold over the Lyrathi city as Captain Aaron Hale woke to the faint glow of Selara's presence. The bond between them pulsed gently, like a heartbeat he could feel even across the room. Their connection was no longer a novelty. It was a constant, unignorable force threading through his mind and body. Every thought, every movement, every emotion had a resonance he could sense, subtle yet undeniable. Aaron sat up, letting the soft warmth of the bond wash over him. It was comforting and strange at the same time. He could feel Selara's own morning routine, the slow stretch of her arms, the rhythmic breath of her lungs, the quiet satisfaction of waking in a world she knew intimately. "Good morning," Aaron whispered, even though she wasn't physically there. He could sense her presence, though she slept several meters away. "Good morning," came the gentle reply, as clear as if she had spoken aloud. The words floated inside his mind, carried by the bond itself. Did you sleep well? As well as a human can, bonding with an alien mind in a strange city, Aaron replied. The bond made communication effortless. He could convey emotions without words, but Selara's gentle voice grounded him, reminded him that he was still human. Today, the Lyrathi elders had arranged a tour of the city's central archives, a library of sorts, but alive. The buildings themselves seemed to breathe with energy. Bioluminescent veins ran along walls and floors, pulsing gently as Aaron and Selara walked. The air vibrated with knowledge, the hum of thought, and Aaron felt it all through the bond. "This city," he murmured, awestruck, "it's like it's alive." "It is," Selara said, guiding him through glowing corridors. "Our knowledge flows through the city. We do not just store information, we feel it, understand it, and share it as energy." Aaron reached out, touching one of the walls. Tiny sparks ran along his fingers. He gasped. The energy didn't hurt. It felt like a current of understanding, of history being passed directly into his mind. He glimpsed visions of the Lyratha's past, centuries of harmony, stories of great explorers, rituals of bonding, and warnings about outsiders. "We have rules," Selara explained softly. "Rules about energy, about interaction, about bonding. You must be careful." Aaron nodded. The weight of the bond pressed gently against him, reminding him that while this connection was extraordinary, it was also fragile. Missteps could cause harm, not just to him, but to Selara, her people, and perhaps even the planet itself. As they reached the central chamber of the archives, they were met by a group of Lyrathi scholars. Their glowing forms hovered slightly above the ground, eyes studying Aaron with curiosity and caution. "You have bonded with a human," one scholar said, their voice calm but firm. "This is unprecedented." Aaron bowed slightly. "I do not wish to disrespect your people or your traditions. I only wish to learn." The scholar's gaze softened, but the others murmured among themselves. Aaron felt subtle waves of unease from the crowd. Not all Lyrathi accepted humans or interspecies bonding. Some feared it, others disapproved, and a few were openly hostile. Selara squeezed his hand lightly. "Ignore them for now," she whispered. "They will come to understand eventually." The scholars began their lesson, teaching Aaron about Lyrathi energy channels, emotional resonance, and the sacred bond cycle. As the day progressed, Aaron noticed something unusual. Whenever Selara's emotions shifted, curiosity, concern, joy, the city seemed to respond. Walls pulsed brighter, corridors adjusted subtly, and the air vibrated more strongly. The bond was not just a connection between two minds, it was tied to the energy of the planet itself. By mid-afternoon, Aaron and Selara were exploring the outskirts of the city. The landscape was breathtaking, valleys of glowing plants, rivers that shimmered like liquid crystal, and distant mountains that pulsed faintly with light. It was beautiful, but Aaron couldn't shake a feeling of tension. Something in the air felt charged. "Do you feel that?" he asked, his voice quiet. Selara paused, placing her hand lightly on his shoulder. "Yes," she said, "it is unusual. The bond amplifies sensitivity to energy flows. Something is shifting." Aaron frowned. "Shifting? How? Like a storm?" "Perhaps," Selara replied. Her voice was calm, but Aaron could sense concern threading through her thoughts. "Or perhaps something more dangerous." They continued their walk, following the energy shifts deeper into a forest of luminous flora. Aaron's bond allowed him to sense Selara's focus and alertness. Every step, every rustle of leaves, sent ripples through their connection. He realized that he could anticipate her movements, her reactions, and her decisions before she acted. It was a strange, thrilling, and slightly terrifying power. Suddenly, a pulse of energy surged through the ground, knocking Aaron slightly off balance. Selara reacted instantly, placing her hand on his chest and steadying him. The bond flared, connecting them more deeply than ever. Aaron could feel her calm determination, her awareness of the surrounding terrain, and a quiet warning that danger was near. "What is it?" he asked, his pulse quickening. "Something or someone is trying to disrupt the energy," Solara said, her eyes narrowed, glowing more brightly. "We are not alone." From the shadows of the forest, several Lyrathi figures emerged. Unlike Solara and her peers, their skin glowed faintly red, a color of warning and authority. They moved swiftly, blocking Aaron and Solara's path. "You should not be here," one of them said. "This bond, it is unnatural. It must be severed." Aaron tensed. He had expected curiosity, perhaps disapproval, but not aggression. The bond thrummed, sending waves of urgency through his mind. He could feel Solara's tension mirrored in his chest, her thoughts urging caution yet brimming with determination. "We are not leaving," Solara said firmly. "The bond is legitimate. The captain has chosen me, and I have chosen him." The red glowing Lyrathi hesitated, exchanging brief signals that Aaron could faintly sense through the bond. He realized that Solara's species communicated not just with words, but through energy and subtle mental signals. The bond allowed him to interpret fragments of those messages, giving him insight he never should have had. "Human, fragile yet persistent," one of the opposing Lyrathi said. "We will test this bond. If it fails, it must be broken." Aaron's heart raced. "A test? What kind of test?" Solara stepped closer to him, her glowing form radiant. "Do not fear," she whispered, her thoughts flowing into his mind like a gentle river. "We will face this together, trust me." The test began. The opposing Lyrathi sent pulses of energy at them, probing, seeking to weaken the bond. Aaron felt each pulse as if it struck him directly, but Solara's presence steadied him. He returned the energy with his own focus, matching her mental rhythm, reinforcing the connection. Minutes stretched into what felt like hours. Aaron realized something extraordinary. He was learning to use the bond as a shield, not just a connection. His human determination, his willpower, his courage, his refusal to give up, allowed the bond to resist the attacks. Solara's support amplified it, creating a resonance that the opposing Lyrathi could not break. Finally, the attackers withdrew, their red glow dimming. Aaron and Solara were left standing, panting, connected more deeply than ever. The bond had endured. "You see," Solara said softly, resting her forehead against his, "humans are stronger than I imagined. Your mind, your spirit, it complements mine." Aaron smiled, a mixture of relief and awe. "I never imagined this." Solara's glow softened. "Neither did I. But now we know together we are powerful, but we must be careful. There are others who will not accept this, and not all dangers are so visible." As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the luminous forest, Aaron realized that the bond was more than connection. It was responsibility. Every step they took, every choice they made, could affect not only themselves but Solara's species, his crew, and the balance of this planet. Back at the city, Aaron spoke with Mara and his crew, explaining what had happened. Their faces were a mix of awe and concern. Humans were adaptable, yes, but the Lyrathi were unlike anything they had encountered. And the energy attacks, that suggested a depth of politics, tradition, and danger that Aaron had not anticipated. Solara joined them, her glowing presence calm but alert. "The bond will guide us," she said, "but guidance alone is not enough. We must act wisely or risk losing more than we can imagine." Aaron nodded. His mind was racing, but he felt the bond steady him. Together, they could face whatever trials awaited. Together, they could survive. And somewhere deep in the city, shadows moved. Eyes watched. Whispers carried through corridors of energy. Not everyone accepted the human. Not everyone would allow the bond to exist. Aaron gripped Solara's hand. "We're in this together," he said firmly. "Yes," she replied. "And soon the truth will test us even more." The night was quiet, but the stars above seemed to pulse in anticipation. For Aaron and Solara, the trials of the bond had only just begun. And as the city glowed softly around them, Aaron understood that this season would change everything. For him, for Selara, and for the future of humanity in ways no one could yet predict. The city of the Lyrathi glowed under the twin moons, casting long silver and gold reflections. Across the flowing streets, Captain Aaron Hale stood beside Selara on a high balcony overlooking the central plaza. Their bond thrummed between them, stronger than ever. Every heartbeat, every breath, every thought resonated across the invisible thread connecting their minds. But tonight was not peaceful. Shadows moved within the city, silent and deliberate. Aaron could sense them, a subtle tension threading through the energy of the place. The faction that had challenged their bond in the forest, the red glowing Lyrathi, was gathering. They had allies. They wanted the bond severed, and they would stop at nothing to achieve it. Selara's glow brightened in alarm, mirrored by the flare of the bond. "Aaron, they are planning something," she said, her thoughts sharp with warning. "They think the bond is a threat to our order." "They are wrong, but we must act carefully." Aaron placed a hand on her arm, grounding them both. "We'll face it together. We have to, no matter what happens." Selara nodded. "Good. Then we will move tonight." The first wave of attackers appeared silently in the central plaza. Human eyes might have missed them, but Aaron could feel the subtle distortions in the air. Through the bond, Selara guided him, every movement coordinated, every step measured. It was as if they were no longer two beings but one, responding instinctively to each threat. "Stay close," Selara whispered, and Aaron could feel her calm strength envelop him. The faction moved in a coordinated strike. Energy pulses shot toward them, testing the bond, trying to destabilize it. Aaron felt the waves of power, sharp and dangerous, brushing against his mind. But this time he did not panic. He had learned. He had felt the bond endure trials before. Drawing strength from Selara's presence, he responded in kind, using focus and willpower to reinforce the connection. The attackers recoiled. Some faltered. The bond, now a radiant force, pulsed outward, showing not only unity but resilience. Aaron felt exhilaration. This was more than survival. It was proving that humanity, with courage and determination, could meet the impossible. Selara's eyes shone brighter as she extended her energy, weaving it into Aaron's own. Together, they projected a resonance that pushed back the attackers, forcing them to pause. The plaza shimmered with the glow of their combined bond, an undeniable declaration. They were not weak, and they were not alone. "We cannot hold them off forever," Aaron said, even as he felt the flow of energy through him. "We need a plan." Selara's mind touched his. "There is a place beneath the archives, a chamber of the planet's core energy. If we reach it, we can stabilize the bond and demonstrate its legitimacy to all Lyrathi, but it will be dangerous. The path is not meant for outsiders." Aaron exhaled. "Then we go, together." They moved through the city with agility and precision. The attackers tried to block them at every turn, but the bond allowed Aaron to anticipate movements, coordinate with Selara, and respond instinctively. Walls shimmered and shifted, but the pair pressed on, a human and a Lyrathi moving as one. Finally, they reached the chamber beneath the archives. The entrance glowed with a soft, pulsing light. Inside, the energy was overwhelming. Streams of bioluminescence flowed through crystalline structures, pulsing in rhythm with the planet itself. Aaron could feel the life of the planet, the pulse of generations of Lyrathi knowledge, and the intensity of their bond amplified by it. "This is it," Selara whispered, her voice trembling with awe. "If the bond survives here, no one can deny its power." The red glowing faction followed, desperate to intervene. But as they entered, the chamber's energy reacted. Pulses of light shot toward them, but the bond between Aaron and Selara absorbed it, redirecting the energy in controlled arcs. Aaron felt exhilaration. He was no longer merely human. Through the bond, he could match their power, resist their attacks, and influence the flow of the planet's energy. You can do it. Selara's thoughts flowed into his mind, calm and firm. Together, we will stabilize everything. Aaron focused. He drew on every lesson learned, the willpower of humans, the guidance of Selara, the pulse of the planet. The bond flared brighter than ever, radiating through the chamber and out into the city. He felt the power surge, dangerous and exhilarating, yet controlled. Every pulse was a heartbeat, a proof that this union, human and Lyrathi, was real, strong, and legitimate. The opposing Lyrathi faltered, their red glow flickering as the bond's energy washed over them. Fear, awe, and resignation passed through the faction's ranks. Aaron could sense it. They realized they could not break what they had underestimated. Selara's hand pressed against his chest. "It is done," she whispered. "The bond is recognized by the planet, by our energy, by them." Aaron let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. Around them, the chamber hummed with affirmation. The city responded. The glow of towers, streets, and structures pulsed in harmony, acknowledging the bond. Even the skeptical Lyrathi elders bowed in silent respect. Outside the chamber, the red glowing faction stepped back, defeated but alive. Aaron felt no triumph over them personally. The victory was shared, a testament to human resilience and the strength of connection. The aftermath was quiet but profound. The Lyrathi city buzzed with renewed energy, no longer tense with uncertainty. Bonds, once considered fragile and sacred, had been tested and proven. And at the center of it all, a human and a Lyrathi stood united, their connection stronger than ever. Aaron and Selara emerged from the chamber into the plaza. The Lyrathi gathered, their glowing forms calm, eyes respectful. Whispers of amazement and approval spread through the crowd. Humanity, represented by Aaron, had not only survived the test, they had elevated it. "You have done more than I imagined," Selara said, her glow warm and radiant. "You have shown that humans can rise to challenges we never thought possible." Aaron smiled, feeling the bond resonate with pride and relief. "And you have taught me to see the universe differently," he said, "not just through human eyes but through yours." Selara stepped closer, her energy intertwining with his. "We are stronger together, and now, perhaps the galaxy will understand. Humanity is not just a species to watch from afar. We are partners. We are equals." As the twin moons rose high above the city, Aaron reflected on the journey that had begun months ago. He had started as an explorer, curious and cautious. Now he was a bridge between worlds, a living example of the potential within humans to adapt, persevere, and inspire. Mara approached, her eyes wide with admiration. "Captain, that was incredible. You didn't just survive, you led, you bonded, and you protected the bond." "Humanity has never been so visible." Aaron nodded, still holding Selara's hand. "It was not just me. Selara, the bond, it guided us. Together we achieved this." And Selara's glow softened, a sign of contentment and trust. "Together," she agreed. The night deepened, and the city pulsed with quiet life. Aaron and Selara stood side by side, their bond a symbol of unity, trust, and the extraordinary capacity of humans to rise above fear, expectation, and limitation. They had faced trials that could have destroyed them. They had survived when others doubted, and in doing so, they had shown that humanity's courage, intelligence, and adaptability were forces to be reckoned with. The red glowing faction lingered at the edges of the city, watching. But now they observed with respect, recognizing that the bond was not a threat to tradition. It was a testament to growth, understanding, and the possibility of new alliances. Aaron looked at Selara, feeling the surge of emotions through their bond: pride, relief, curiosity, and hope. He realized something profoundly human and simple. Love, trust, and courage could bridge even the widest divides in the universe. And somewhere in the galaxy, stars watched silently as humanity claimed a new place, not through domination but through connection. The bond was not just theirs, it was a spark that could ignite understanding across worlds, a reminder that humans were more than explorers. They were catalysts for change, resilience, and hope. Aaron squeezed Salara's hand. "This is only the beginning," he said, his voice steady. Salara smiled, radiant and confident. "Yes, the beginning of a new season. A season where bonds can bridge worlds. A season where humans and Lyrathi, and perhaps other species, can learn from each other." And as the twin moons shone above the city, the bond between human and Lyrathi pulsed brightly, a living testament to courage, unity, and the extraordinary potential of a species daring enough to rise among the stars. Together, they were unstoppable. Together, they had rewritten the rules of a galaxy that had never seen anything like it. And together, they would face whatever came next, united, strong, and undeniably human.